What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today is episode 259. The Vikings are the best team in the NFL. Not even Jim Harbaugh can escape the Chargers charging themselves. Michigan took down USC despite not being able to do a simple function of the game, which is the forward pass. Oklahoma fans should thank Josh Heupel dearly for taking the foot off the gas and not embarrassing them in their home stadium. And Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts are absolutely unbelievable. Back-to-back home runs to walk it off in the ninth yesterday in a very tight race with the San Diego Padres right now. Big time series this week in terms of quick little baseball update. Dodgers Padres, big time series this week. And then also we have Mets Braves. They are both chasing that last wild card spot. Frank the Tank is on alert this week. We may get the best Frank the Tank content we've gotten since the Mets choked their 100-win season to the Braves 2 years ago. If I have this remember correctly, I think the Mets, Everett, had a 3-game lead in the division with 6 games left to play over the Braves. They had a weekend series against the Braves, second to last series of the season, and they got swept. So, all they needed to do was win one, and it essentially would have wrapped the division,
real quick,
but they got swept. That may happen.
Just playoff teams right now in general. So these are the teams that have clinched a playoff spot as of Monday, September 23rd. Okay. Dodgers, Phillies, Brewers, Guardians, and Yankees. That's it. The remaining spots are Diamondbacks with the 6th wild card spot right now. The
Mets should be them, 5. Mets, Braves, and Padres, technically.
Mets and Padres. Right now, I think it's Diamondbacks, Mets, and Padres. I think the Braves are on the outside based off what this says.
The Braves got a little bit of a lead to come back, but they do have that series with the Mets.
And then AL, none of the wild card teams are set in stone right now. They're all up for grabs. But you have Tigers, Astros, Royals, and Orioles all.
I guess Baltimore hasn't clinched.
They will, but
yeah, it looks like Baltimore should be clinched. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. If we're just talking quick little playoff overview, though, out of the AL, the team I'm looking at, a little scared of, is of course Houston once again. Houston's picked it up a little bit here down the stretch. Orioles been slumping a little. Yankees also definitely scared of them. Once again, I've been saying this for years. I just want one Dodgers-Yankees World Series in my life. I think everybody does.
I think everybody wants to see that, though.
Still think there's, I think according to the sports books, that is the most likely World Series matchup. I'd kind of be shocked if it happens.
Both teams choke in the playoffs. So
yeah, and also one seeds do not have the greatest track record when it comes to the new playoff format.
Should we intentionally tie with Philly so we end up with the 2 seed instead of the 1?
Well, it on a serious note, like, you're kind of just basing who you want that next matchup. If we get the 1 seed, then we have to take on most likely San Diego.
If right now, get the 2 seed,
we'll most likely have Milwaukee or the winner of the other wild card game. But I would rather play Milwaukee than San Diego in the playoffs.
I would rather play
anybody,
either the Mets or the Brewers, but anybody but the team in division. That is it.
For reference, the San Diego Padres through 100 games this year, they were 50-50. Okay, 500 after 100 games. Since then, they are 90-66. So they are 40-16 over their last 56 games. San Diego is extremely hot. Extremely hot. That is not a team you want to face right now.
Their magic number right now is 1 for a wild card.
To clinch? Oh, okay. So I believe going into the series against our last series that we just played, holy shit, I'm already blanking who we just beat. Absolute bomb. But going into that series, the magic number was 6. A combination of 6 Dodger wins and 6 San Diego losses. Right now, we do have a 3-game lead in the division, but that is just like what the Mets had against the Braves 2 years ago. If we get swept, the division is tied. Like we just need to take 1 off of San Diego in these next 3, but still, like we talk about keeping up the momentum and stuff. Like if we go 1-2 against San Diego here, I'm not feeling great about October.
No, not
October,
feeling great.
I mean 1 week.
But I will say, which is crazy, by the way, but I will say maybe for the Dodgers' benefit, they lose the division, sweep the Rockies, and go into that wild card week.
Yeah, obviously we don't want to willingly sign up for that because the circumstances we would be getting.
But
yeah, no. But like what we were saying though, like the team usually has the division wrapped like 3 weeks ago right now. Like you have a month to literally just get healthy, essentially. And we turn the switch off after we clinch a division every year. Now we are in a race at the end. We do have to play meaningful baseball up to the very end of the season.
And hopefully that maybe kicks a little bit,
No, yeah, and
I mean, a little bit.
Yesterday on Sunday, one of the best comeback wins of the season. We're down 4-5 going to the top of the 9th. Shohei battles, hits a home run to tie it up, and then first pitch next at bat, Mookie goes deep to walk it off. It is magical moments like that. What this team's going to need to go make some runs deep into the playoffs, but we haven't seen it. Dodgers haven't won a playoff series since 2021 when we beat the Giants in their crazy year when they took the division over us. So we're gonna, it's in a way, we'll be happy that the series is here and it's meaningful games. Like this is a big time series. We do need to play like it's a playoff game, which is good. Good practice, good reps. We'll see though.
Let's just, actually, you know what? I'll save this for another time. We got football we got to get into. That's a little bit more important.
We'll have a better postseason prediction breakdown for next Monday's episode or later in this week for our second episode. But we're getting into crunch time right now, folks. Keep my eyes on the prize. I kind of forget every year. Right around right now, it's like, all right, football's been back. We've taken our eyes off of Dodger baseball, but everything is right now.
You gotta lock in a little bit.
Every single ounce of your energy needs to go to this team. Every single thing needs to go to this team. The Ohio State jersey will get transferred. I'll trade this one in for the Kemp nose moving forward. But a lot of football to talk about on today's episode. We're gonna have to start off with the NFL effort. We're gonna have to. It was a big time weekend. I would say early on in the year, it's very hard to know how these teams are. Like we just don't have much information on these teams. Like best examples of like some teams following up, your team Vikings, and like also like the Saints. I may need another month to get a read on New Orleans. All right, it might take me another 4 games or another 3 games to have some more film under my belt to like understand how this team operates. But Everett, I don't think anybody would have said this going into the season, but I can confidently say at the end of, well, technically week 3 is not over, but regardless what happens tonight, I can confidently say the Minnesota Vikings look like the best team in the NFL right now.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Yeah,
I want to clarify that.
I want to say it so this doesn't need to be anything awkward moving forward. As an outsider, the Minnesota Vikings look like the best team in the NFL today.
As a general thing, I mean, now it's Vikings talk time, right? As a general thing, Kevin O'Connell's up for an extension. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet, but pay this man. On top of that, whatever you pay Kevin O'Connell, give Brian Flores the exact same amount of money. They both need to be in Minnesota together for the rest of time, because Brian Flores has been outside of that 2017 defense that the Vikings had, 2016 season, Brian Flores has been the only defensive coordinator who I have actually felt confident in calling plays. In my defense, I've actually been like, okay, we're back. The purple people eaters are back. We lead the league in sacks right now. We're back. All right. But I mean, look, Kevin O'Connell's a fucking wizard. You're getting Sam Darnold playing like an MVP caliber, comeback player of the year caliber quarterback to a point where he goes down with an injury in the game.
He is fine, correct?
He is fine.
Nothing crazy.
Everybody in the stadium and me, everybody watching him collectively holding their breath, and he comes back onto the field, and it's Sam Darnold we're talking about. Remember
we're talking about Sam Darnold, everybody.
Standing ovation from the Minnesota Vikings.
We're talking about Sam Darnold
for coming back on the field, and it's Sam Darnold. So I mean, maybe Sam Darnold, maybe Kevin O'Connell figured out what the Jets were hoping to get out of him when they drafted him originally, or maybe Kevin O'Connell's just that guy, and he's a quarterback guru like that, or both, right? But whenever Andy Reid retires, Kevin O'Connell is the next man up for best quarterback whisperer in the league.
Yeah, I think we're just kind of seeing it.
He might
right
already
now.
be there. He might be there.
Yeah, I mean, we're just looking at situations real quick. If you were to tell New York Jets fans going into this year, Aaron Rodgers will be healthy. He will not tear his Achilles after 4 plays this year. He will be your quarterback. And that Geno Smith and Sam Darnold are also starting quarterbacks who look better than Aaron Rodgers. What world do we live in?
What the fuck are we doing?
What planet are we on? Because it's not Earth. This isn't Earth. I don't know what is going on right now. Yeah, but I think we're seeing an example of instability in franchises. How some players do get screwed over by situation. Going back to, one of our series that we love doing. We'll see how much we do it moving forward. But the please do not draft list. There's a reason as an Ohio State fan that I'm concerned of certain players when they leave and go to certain teams. That it does terrify me what's going to happen to them. Because I've seen the story too many times. I've seen the talent. I've seen it on display. And then they just go to a completely non-functional organization or franchise, and it all goes wrong.
Look, Bryce Young as an example. Bryce Young could be the problem. Could be.
I would say yes. Okay. Yeah, go on. Go on.
The Panthers are so dysfunctional that you're not giving him an environment that's going to
he's on an opportunity. He doesn't have a chance to succeed.
Andy Dalton, on the other hand, has been in the league for 14 years, so he's been around places where there's a capable environment, so he can play better. He understands how to play better. When I also Bryce Young in a situation to learn and play well, I mean, it's obviously going to be bad. I mean, it doesn't help that he's 5'9", but I mean, anyways.
I would say just for Bryce real quick, you could just, I don't know what it's like, but I could imagine it's not a great feeling. You're the number 1 overall pick. You have these high, lofty expectations to bring a franchise, carry it on your shoulders by yourself. That's the pressure we put on top picks. And you walk into that situation, you publicly are aware that your owner picked you over the advice of what your head coach and GM, the guys you have to deal with on a daily basis, didn't want you.
I just want to add to that. Josh McCown, who is now part of the reason why Sam Darnold has reemerged. Josh McCown was one of the guys who CJ
also, it stinks for McCown because, hey, after last season, he was getting a little bit of flack. When he did want CJ, that's all been very publicly known now. But regardless, Bryce Young was just put in a position to fail from day one. He didn't even have a chance. Also,
it doesn't help when CJ Stroud is going to at the time,
yes,
not necessarily a parallel situation, but still a situation that most people are like,
disarray.
This isn't great.
Yeah.
And or at least historically
and
speaking,
then he takes them to the playoffs and wins a playoff game.
And that's an example of
I'd be crushed. I literally wouldn't be able to pick up a football.
Hiring a good coach and a good GM. The key here for the Panthers right now is a good GM, but also the McNair family, I believe, are the owners of the Texans, and they compared to Tepper is a complete 180 anyways.
It's not a fair comparison to make. No. I also was hearing stories that apparently David Tepper's wife really wanted CJ Stroud, and that probably doesn't help too. So many factors were involved. Tepper literally overruled every single person giving him advice.
I will
literally
say
every piece of advice here.
At a minimum, this
hindsight's 2020. I know
this past week. I know it was versus the Raiders, but it gave me some hope that Canales is not a bad head coach.
Yeah, like this is just an awful situation. Anyone involved, you're walking into just a doomsday scenario. Like you're just set up to fail regardless what happens. Like in a way, like Bryce Young right now, like Andy Dalton, once again, for Bryce Young, it stinks to be him right now. Like Andy Dalton putting up that like if I was him right now, like I don't know
Wait, Grant, we
I would
we
do.
gotta
But
ask. I gotta ask this question. We don't know yet. I mean, it's been 1 week since Bryce was benched. Don't know the future at
I
this
don't
point
know
in
if he'll start
time.
another game in Carolina in his career.
At this point in time, one, is Bryce Young the biggest bust in draft history? And two, is that trade the worst trade in NFL history? The worst trade in sport history?
We're gonna need sports difficult. Sport is going to be difficult. Let's focus NFL first. Let's focus NFL first.
Emmitt Smith trade is really the only comparable.
That's the one I'm thinking of right off the top of my head. Like, okay, this is the thing. We could define it as a worst trade in terms of what Carolina gave up, but like in a way, we do need to measure how successful Chicago is moving forward. And based on what I'm seeing right now, that place is also a dumpster fire. And then you see what Justin Fields is doing in Pittsburgh, 3-0.
Well, hey, he only two touchdowns. Only two touchdowns. Two interceptions.
That's over average at this rate in the NFL. Yeah. Way over average.
I mean, compared to what he was doing in Chicago, yeah, it's above Justin Fields' average.
I'm not saying Justin Fields is a world beater.
I am still standing. You know what? I have to be respectful. The Steelers are 3-0. They have to be a top 10 team just for the fact they're 3-0.
They do have top 10, a very good defense.
But are they a top 10 team collectively? No.
As of right now, they are.
As of now, just numerically
do we think
speaking,
they're going to do anything in the playoffs? No, I'll agree with you on that.
No, but numerically speaking, are they a top 10 team right now? Yeah. Just by yes, but as a team entirely, as a whole, coaching, defense, offense, play, expectate whatever. No, the Steelers are not a top 10 team in the league right now. They just happen to be playing at a point where they're undefeated and top 10 team, and it's really just because of their defense. But I can't say that on paper they are a top 10 team.
Sure, but hey, I'm gonna say this could be a weird year of NFL football. Right now, are the only undefeated teams? Are the only undefeated teams you, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo?
Us, no. So it's Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Seattle.
And Seattle.
The Chiefs have lost, right?
Oh shit, no, they undefeated.
And the Chiefs, I guess.
They're undefeated, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, I don't want to go over last night, but I mean, Everett, were you watching last night's game?
No, I did not get to watch last night's game.
Bro, I hate complaining about the refs and the Chiefs. I hate being that guy.
I did see that. You talking about the Pitts
dude? Oh my God, bro. Every single time it's the last second close in at the end of the game. Every single time there's a very big call that could be made or not made. The whistle's always kept in the pocket when the Chiefs make a penalty, and the whistle is always blown by 18 fucking refs on the field whenever somebody does it against the Chiefs. It's every single time. Whatever.
Let's set a standard here. And Roger, what are we doing?
It's just every single time the Chiefs could get the benefit of the doubt at the end.
I know it's biased. But it happens basically every game. If the Chiefs somehow went 17-0, Grant, would there be an asterisk with it just because of the sole fact of how many bailouts they get from referees?
I mean, I wouldn't say asterisks on it, but it's just I'm getting sick of this shit. Every single time, the Chiefs get the call their way, literally every single time, especially if it's on prime time. If the whole world's watching, then people will talk about it because it is so egregious and everyone's watching. But this happens in every single game. They just get calls and they're just what are we doing? As an Ohio State fan, I'll be honest. Ohio State Marshall, I don't know who in the Big Ten or Fox or whoever paid off somebody, but oh my God, every call was going to Ohio State, and we're playing Marshall. We did not need
Yeah,
the help.
every
Everything
team
was going our way.
every team
Everything.
Tulane has played this year, whether at home or away, doesn't matter. Just a blatantly screwed.
No,
Tulane has
yeah,
just
but
gotten blatantly screwed.
it does bother me that it's just like, oh my, like, what are we?
Last week's game between Tulane and ULL, the entire first half, by the way, those referees that Tulane had that game had been
Were they
sanctioned.
just
They were
new?
sanctioned. No,
Go
they
on, go
they
on.
had refereed since like at least 2015, because half of the crew were sanctioned in 2015 for spotting one team an extra 5 plays multiple different times, like downs. Like the pass would be incomplete, they'd call a flag on it, so then
Oh,
it'd be a
got it.
replay.
Okay.
And they got sanctioned because of that. And the entire time, at least the first half, every single, like, there was a PI call, a DPI called on Tulane where the receiver slipped. We didn't even touch him. He slipped. We got a DPI call. We had an OPI call. Bullshit. Like, we had a holding call. Bullshit. Like, any possible way to help ULL, like, it happened. It was like watching the Lakers Kings game, playoff game from 2004, whatever the fuck that was. Like, I mean, it was crazy how much the refs were spotting University of Lafayette. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, I would also say, I mean, we can slightly get into a USC Michigan, although I'll have more to say later. But like, like that game, the refs were, I would say, and I'm an Ohio State fan who went to USC, so I'm very biased here. I'd say the refs were leaning towards Michigan, but like they weren't calling that ticky-tack stuff, and I'm talking holding specifically. They weren't calling that on USC side either. USC could have done the same thing. Deuce Robinson could have, as a 6'6", 220-pound wide receiver, he could have held the absolute crap out of any Michigan DB wanted, literally grab them by the face mask to the ground. He could have done that and chose not to. So I'm not going to complain about the refs for that one. But it's been reiterated a lot recently with college coaches. I know specifically Mike Gundy has said a lot about it recently, but Everett, there is no uniform set of rules that applies to all conferences. No. Like, conferences are allowed to have their own rules when it comes to refs, which is what are we,
Bullshit.
what are we talking about? Like, how is it's the same sport? How can each conference's refs have different sets of rules? That literally doesn't make sense.
There's an SEC bias when the SEC refs come into play. But Grant, let's just stick around with the NFL for just one more minute before we really get into anything else.
Stay on NFL here.
I mean, I do want to go back. Like, Vikings, this is my time to shine, so I kind of take advantage of it.
As of today, you get to wear the crown on your head.
Yeah, as of right now.
As of this week, yes.
I am hoping that, you know, the lights don't get too bright for the Vikings, because we do have a tendency to have that happen.
Big time matchup next week in Lambeau.
But Grant, it might be in Lambeau.
Give me a stat about Vikings Packers win lot. Like, give me a stat. Give me something.
I don't need to give you a stat. The only thing I need to tell you is it's Aaron Jones revenge week in Lambeau.
That's all I needed to know. Okay.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
Is there any other revenges going on? Is there any former Vikings on the Packers now? Any?
No, we don't really reciprocate that way. Okay. The last one to do it, I believe, was Eric Wilson. I don't really think that the Vikings go that way.
Edge rusher. Za'Darius.
Zadarius Smith comes to us. It's Packers come to the Vikings.
Got it. Okay.
Vikings don't go to Green Bay.
Got it.
We hold that standard.
Got it.
But Grant, first of all,
you guys have morals. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. But at this point in time, I mentioned this last year, but Grant, the Vikings are 20-0 while Kevin O'Connell's been a coach, when they are winning or tying in the turnover margin. So if the Vikings are tied or winning the turnover margin in a game, currently undefeated.
Okay.
Never lost.
Yeah.
But,
so, real quick, if I could talk about KOC real quick as an outside perspective, folks. Like, I remember when Kevin O'Connell first got hired, you were very excited. Another Sean McVay disciple coming in, like, once again. And there were, I would say, maybe not high expectations, but yeah, you're assuming McVay offensive guy, like, yeah, I've seen this before. Other teams
we
were
have been
expect
told
something.
the whole time it was a competitive rebuild. I was not thinking 13-3 that first year because every single game I felt like 3 years of my life came off because that was the season where
That was
every
a fun
game
year.
was a one score game. And Ed Donatel, oh my God, we don't need. You guys can go back and listen to.
Yeah, there's a lot of content.
Donatel for prison, Ed Donatel for Guantanamo
There's
Bay. Don't know which episode that is, but go watch that one.
Well, I don't know which episodes that were.
But
there were multiple.
multiple. Whatever the most recent one was definitely the playoff loss to the Giants. Which, by the way, I am so sorry, Giants fans. I am so sorry that that happened to you guys.
Yeah, and hey, the way Malik Neighbors is playing right now, Malik Neighbors may get Danny Dimes another contract. I mean, who knows? Who knows at this point?
What did you want to say about KOC?
Yeah, so Kevin O'Connell, I feel like overall, generally around the NFL, I would say not quite necessarily the most well-known guy, but he's about to be very well-known among every NFL fan soon.
Like, I just want to say, yeah, go ahead. You got it.
Or did you have a little?
Well, I mean, my little tidbit was he is so well-known but unknown that even today, Peter Schrager was like, yeah, Kevin O'Connell's got one of the Coach of the Year awards already. He's going to add another one to his trophy case. Kevin O'Connell didn't win Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think he's
Dable won it. So that's my point is he seems like the guy that you would expect to have won that, but no, he is not yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's a clear runaway favorite right now. If any of you can find some solid odds on any books for that, do that right now before.
But also,
I mean, if you guys knock off Green Bay and Lambeau this week, lock it up. Lock it up. Throw it in the bottom of the ocean. It's over.
But I will also like. The way I know this year is there's something happening this year is our rookie kicker, Grant. We all know the history with the Vikings and kicking woes.
Yeah, both of our franchises have a bad history with kickers, yeah.
The Vikings kicker, rookie kicker, has not missed a field goal or extra point yet, including the last field goal attempt he made this game, 58 yarders, hits the upright and doinks in. That's how I know something's different because any other year, that shit's coming right back out. It is not going through. It is not going through.
So are you saying that the voodoo witch doctors are in Minneapolis?
Well, I feel like that's a negative.
Wait, yeah, actually, shit. No, the cool witch doctors, the good ones.
Like just God's on our side right now, man.
We could do that. Yeah. No, that's probably the easier explanation. Yeah, no, I will say it like though. Kevin O'Connell, I think you guys did find the right guy. If that dude is actually up for extension, let's extend him tonight, right now.
Yeah.
Don't let it get to September 24th. Don't let it. Let's do that right now. You guys got a good ball coach. And I would say another thing though about KFC, you're talking about Ed Donatel a lot. We're going to get into this later with Lincoln Riley. I'm going to talk a lot about offensive minded head coaches today who run the offense and sometimes they make questionable DC hires. Kevin O'Connell went out and he got a proven DC, mired by a little bit of controversy recently with his last stint, but
which I'm okay with. I'm okay with. I'm all right.
Oh,
I'm all right with that.
After hearing Brian Flores was asked about the Tua situation, he was like, yeah, I apologize. I coached him wrong. I should have done differently. I was like, that's a guy who has learned from his mistakes and will improve as a coach. There's many defensive coordinators out there who are very, very set in their ways, and they will not.
All I'm hoping, I just need, as much as I think Brian Flores deserves to be a head coach right now, I need him to have his Steve Spagnuolo run. I cannot have him leaving the Vikings.
Well, I think in a way with you, like because of how things did go in Miami, like I think you're safe for a little bit. I don't know if he'll get a
know.
head coach job.
When he's taking the Vikings defense and doing incredible things right now.
I feel like though right now, hey, you guys did the exact same thing with KOC. I have no idea who the current OC of San Francisco or LA is, but those two guys are the next. And then the year after, whoever replaces them, they'll be the next two first guys in line to become head coach. I've seen this cycle.
Bobby Slowick's coming up too, though.
Yeah, yes. And he's with Houston, correct? Or is that Detroit? Who's the Detroit OC?
That's Ben Johnson, I think.
I've been hearing about him for so long.
He's kind of shit in the bed right now.
Yeah, but hey.
I think that was the one they were like, he got offered the Panthers job or something. He was like, no, I'm not accepting that. I'll come back another year. But then it was also like, he had some weird, like, off the field, like, just personality issues as a, like, candidate. It was, I don't know, there was something up with him last year.
Yeah, but yeah, we're seeing a lot of offensive guys get their head coaching jobs. They're still running the offense, that they're still play calling, controlling everything on that side of the ball. So when it comes to the defensive side, the DC does run the show for most of these offensive minded guys. And because of that, you're going to have to hire the right guy. You're going to have to get a guy that fits with your team and everything. And so that's not an easy job to do. KFC looks like he's been able to do that. And yeah.
I would just like to say, at this point in time,
how was the Dallas Turner watch this week? Any noise?
He was out this week.
Damn it. Okay.
But keep in mind,
that's good. You're resting him for
Vikings.
Next week.
Vikings had 5 sacks this week, and that's no Dallas Turner. Ivan Pace wasn't playing. 2 picks. Something's going on.
Breaking news. Never mind. Not breaking.
Not breaking.
I read it incorrectly. Well, yeah, Utah State will be going to the Pac-12. Pac-12 is looking like it's expanding. Tulane has stayed put and said, "Nah, fam."
All of us are.
Yeah, everyone in the Athletic has said, "Nah, fam, don't think so." Chargers are planning to sign Jalen Reagor to the practice squad. That's how you know our wide receiver room is depleted.
I do have breaking news. It does look like somebody in our league has officially decided to tank on the season.
Anyways, we save that for later. But anything else on NFL? I'd say if there's one last thing, I guess I could quickly say this for the Chargers. It is the most Charger thing. That first half was actually like, okay, all right. We gave up a drive to feels like pretty eyed on that drive too, but all right, didn't like seeing that one. They just waltzed down the field, but the second, got a little bit of excitement for this team. Just Joey Bosa goes down first play of the game. It was very fitting. Right before the game, I saw a clip of him in some interview being like, "I expect a very long and physical game this week. It's gonna be a battle all 4 quarters." Literally after one play, he's already hurt. I cannot make this up. Then we progress on, of course, all week. Herbert's battling with his ankle injury, gets rolled up on a play by Cam Hayward. Ankle got rolled up on. He certainly should not have handed the ball after that play, should have been taken out, but he handed the ball off like a champ, the champ you are, Justin. And then, of course, while this is all going on, the sack that allowed the pressure to get to Herbert and for him to re-hurt his ankle. Of course, Slater gets hurt, biceps again, tore his biceps last year, missed 15 games, tore them week 3. And then after that, Joe Alt is on playing right tackle, gets lit up one-on-one by TJ Watt, absolutely destroyed by TJ Watt. Welcome to the NFL, little boy moment. And then 3 plays later, he sprains his MCL. Undisclosed time to return. So the Chargers lost Bosa, Herbert, and both of our tackles in a game. We are so back. Yeah. Hey, at least we got those 2 wins though. Realistically though, we're gonna see how much this Harbaugh grit really matters moving forward with a banged up team. If the Chargers can eke out wins right now, my confidence in Harbaugh will be through the roof.
If there was any quarterback you'd want to have starting in Herbert's stead right now,
I'll
with
take Heineke. I'll take
with the
Heineke.
Harbaugh mentality,
I will take
100% Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, and I almost like forgot for a second we just got Heineke. Like,
oh no, I totally
recently.
Forgot because I texted you saying Easton 60 them.
Yeah, and I literally thought that first. I was like, oh wait, no, we did just like very under the radar picked up Heineke last second real quick. Easton Stick is not an NFL quarterback. He's not a backup NFL quarterback. He's not a third string NFL quarterback. I think he could be a great coach, but Easton Stick is the perfect backup quarterback in terms of not putting any fear into your starter's eyes. Carolina should have Easton Stick. That would have made Bryce Young confident in himself.
Hey, but he did have that really cool dribbling with the football at NDSU, man.
That is true.
That really cool.
That was really cool. He dribbles it between his legs. It's just like, dude, what is he playing basketball with a football? Yeah, no. That does get serious bonus points. You'll always
have that.
And it like I can just see him very naturally becoming a coach. That's your recruiting pitch right there, Easton. If you get a recruit on campus and you start dribbling a football between your legs, they'll stop and they'll listen to what you have to say. All I gotta say. But yeah, NFL updates. I guess if there's one last little thing I'd like to, you know what? I don't. We don't need to bag on Bryce Young anymore. I was gonna say Andy Dalton's the first quarterback this year with 300+ yards and 3 touchdowns in the same game.
So you just did anyways, but it's okay. Yeah, it's all right. It's like prefacing something like, "Hey, don't take this the wrong way."
Quite literally. I was like, it's like you're right.
You still dogged on him. It's all right.
Oh, I did.
It's okay.
That's on me, Bryce. Sorry.
Oh God.
Yeah, but NFL. I'm gonna need a couple more weeks of data before I can make some conclusions on some teams. But
okay, Vikings, let's just do this.
We can confidently say.
Have you do this?
Should we just go? Are you just gonna tell me teams, and should I just say confident, mid, or season's over?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do it.
Let's do that.
I was gonna do it like biggest surprises or whatever, but we'll do it that way. I like that more. All right. Vikings.
Confident, good, solidified.
Okay. Chargers.
Bad.
Season's over.
Turn your eyes off.
In the toilet.
Don't watch.
Steelers.
Optimistic.
Okay. So is that that's our thing right now?
Mid.
We have good optimistic.
Slightly above mid.
Garbage can. Eagles.
Nick Sirianni will no longer be in Philadelphia by the end of the year. Probably sooner.
Please God, I want them to hire Ben Johnson so badly because it would just be it'd suck. Saints.
A bit.
I have
mid.
Optimistic.
I'm gonna say a bit above mid, maybe, but like, yeah, mid. No, I remember what Derek Carr was yesterday. I remember Derek Carr was behind center there. I remember that.
Broncos.
Bo Nix, let's ride.
I mean, like they did just beat the Bucs.
They're not. It's not like they're making the playoffs or anything, but Bo Nix, let's ride.
Okay, let me get one last team in here. I'm not going to do any of the hospital teams. So 49ers, Rams, you guys can just stay in
I can't really give you an opinion either.
Stay in the ICU over there. I mean, what would be another good
I got a team. Seattle, the Seahawks.
Ooh.
Seattle, I'm going to say
let's do this. Pretender or
easier? Pretender.
Real.
Seattle's a pretender.
I'm saying pretend.
A nice start to this season with the schedule and how things have worked. You've gotten I would say they've had the easiest schedule in the NFL to start the year. I don't think that's crazy.
The Saints were pretty close too before this game.
True, but like at least you could, going into the season, people had respect for the NFC East and the Cowboys. Now we don't, but at least it was there.
Last team, Grant.
Oh yeah,
Chiefs. Pretender.
they're not as good as they were last year. But when you have a 12th man on the field wearing black and white, it helps.
Yeah. My favorite thing from this weekend, though, was after the Cowboys lost, they were like, Jerry Jones was like, yeah, fuck. I just couldn't sign Derrick Henry. Just didn't have the money. Jerry, you know how much money you just gave Dak when you could have signed Derrick Henry? You know what you could have done?
And also, I don't think Derrick Henry signed like a crazy contract with Baltimore. Like
he definitely didn't. It was like
certainly
9
didn't.
or something. It was
Yeah.
like one, not much.
You certainly could have gotten that if you wanted to. But yeah, I think
Cowboys suck. How many weeks until Fat Carthy gets fired? How many weeks until Zimmer gets fired on the defense?
Yeah, Zim. We're gonna find out how loyal Jerry Jones truly is to his guys.
Did they wait till the end of the season to fire the last head coach?
Garrett? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Jerry Jones is pretty loyal to his guys, so
very loyal. That's why Dak still has
That's why Zeke is still on the team. Like I love Zeke. Don't get me wrong, but it breaks my heart seeing him out there.
What the fuck is going on with the running backs? Is Dalvin Cook even played a snap yet?
No. It's Rico Dowdle. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Dowdle. I will say though, Tom Brady was much better this week. I was listening a little bit.
He kind of was much better a little bit, didn't he?
He was having some fun.
Yeah.
He was having some fun.
Yeah.
They were down making comeback plays, and yeah, he was getting a little bit on Dak. But okay. On to college football. But yeah, Everett, congratulations. You had the best team in the NFL
rat poison.
It's just for the week though.
Rat poison was specified.
Well, I mean, not gonna lie, if you beat Green Bay, pretty sure you have a bye week afterwards. It's gonna be a lot of rat poison. Gonna be a lot of rat poison coming your way if you guys can. And hey, I think Jordan Love will play, but we're not previewing that game.
Where our bye week is week 6. So
yeah, you got to go across the pond week 5, correct?
Yeah, that's
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that is
sign up for a date with Aaron.
6 a.m. wake up call for me and for you.
I'll physically be watching the game. Mentally will not be, but okay. On to college football. Yeah, big time weekend. A lot of major games, of course. USC Michigan will be the bulk of this, but
can I just start with something before you get into all that? I just want to address some Pac-12 stuff.
Pac-12 after dark?
Unfortunately not.
Well, it might be coming back now. Time zone wise, it should.
So obviously there's been for a little bit now, for at least like the last week and a half, there's been active knowledge of Memphis and Tulane specifically being the targeted schools by the Pac. And obviously like the whole thing was they were a group bid essentially because you need to have your travel partner. So it's going to be like Tulane, Memphis, and USF, maybe UTSA, maybe. All basically ended up saying no. And I want to just state that one is probably because the ACC is most likely going to have an opening pretty soon. So Clemson and FSU fans keep hammering that drum. All right, fuck the ACC, okay. But also the American Conference price to leave was $25 million, Grant, like the buyout. Mm-hmm. The Pac was only willing to pay $2.5 million of that. So the schools would have had to pay the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Explain to me how you targeting one of these schools makes sense that you then only pay $2.5 million, the $25 million required for them to leave for you. That doesn't make much sense to me. Plus, their whole TV package deal right now is only between $10 and $15 million. So you wouldn't even make up the money.
Yeah, no, that's what I was getting at. But if
I don't get
that's what the propose is.
The one thing though that is gonna kind of suck out of all this, right now, if the Pac-12 adds Utah State and UNLV, they will instantly become higher ranked than the American and then the Sun Belt. So there's going to come into question G5 bid, automatic bid, all how all that stuff works, because
I would say as of
because
right,
it is the conference champions. It's never specifically
yeah,
been
yeah.
stated.
It says the 5 best conference champions have
It's
buys.
never specifically been stated to be a G5 team.
Yeah,
It's
now
just
this
right
is
now that's the situation. So
this is
there's
another
a
important thing
chance.
to point out. We have the 12-team playoff right now. I think it's already been approved. They're expanding
14,
in like
correct?
3 years or 2 years. So
Yeah.
like by the time that happens, like who knows what the buys would, in my opinion, there should not be conference championship buys. It's stupid to me. But that's what the current model is. Yeah, I mean, based on all those things, no, I wouldn't leave to join. I mean, and like you were saying, we don't even know if this new Pac-12 is guaranteed any type of protection for the college football playoff. So, like,
right now, they probably would over the American or the
I
rest
would
of the G5
say
teams.
maybe a little not over the American, but it's not.
The
It
one
isn't
thing
crazy.
to note, though,
They just have Oregon State and Washington State. Like
basketball, just at least for football, but also the other sports would have been way better to be in the pack. But the one thing that is nice to kind of figure out of the rest of this
I do love Mountain West basketball. Not gonna lie,
is Tulane is a package deal, like for ACC with at least with Memphis. So
got it. That's a good partnership.
What I'm inferring from this is Memphis and Tulane are gonna go together to the next destination. So
I like that.
The one thing that is kind of tough is I don't think it's gonna happen now with the losses incurred, but it has always been an issue. Is some are all gonna leave for a power conference and not going to a power conference. You know, it's inviting a possibility that that's still being an option.
Yeah, I think for now, you can be pretty confident it'll stay put. We'll see. And it's gonna happen pretty soon here, but we're gonna see exactly how some of these carousel moves, what they lead to. Like Florida's got an opening right now. We'll see who takes that, and the paper trail that leaves behind that. We're waiting for some dominoes to fall here, and there may be some other players. The NFL just suspended Derwin James against the Chiefs. Yeah. I mean, we're already without Herbert. We're already without Bosa. We're already without our 2 tackles, and now they just suspended Derwin. They really just suspended Derwin. Are you kidding? Ever? I mean, cancel the season. Travis Hunter, you are a Charger. Let's get it going. My God, this. And Christian McCaffrey is going to Germany to see a specialist for his. So he's not playing this year.
No,
he's not playing this year. Nice. Well, I mean, the last 30 minutes, the amount of news that came out is okay. College football time. Grant, this is your time to light him up.
Walk in.
Okay. Phone on do not disturb. Oh. All right. College football, a lot of things break down. Okay, first I want to say this. Oklahoma, Tennessee. Not sure if you got to saw it. If you got to see it. If you didn't miss anything. I don't blame you at all. 2 programs I want to talk about real quick. First, Tennessee. What Josh Heupel impressed me so much this Saturday, okay? Everett, if for anyone not aware, Josh Heupel was the quarterback of the Oklahoma Sooners late 90s, early 2000s. When he was at Oklahoma playing quarterback, Brent Venables was the defensive coordinator of the Oklahoma Sooners. So Brent Venables was a staff member when Josh Heupel played for Oklahoma. Of course, Josh Heupel returning to Norman, also Oklahoma's SEC debut, another big factor involved. And leading up to the game, Heupel was talking or hinting at, I can't wait for this Saturday. It's going to be a light show. He was kind of hinting at a blowout. Josh Heupel in Tennessee, they were up big early on, and I'll get to Oklahoma in a second with Jackson Arnold, but Tennessee was up big on Oklahoma, and I think Heupel was trying to put his neck on the throat, was trying to slaughter Oklahoma out back, but Nico drops back twice and gets strip sack fumbled twice, trying to go up and just kill Oklahoma. Heupel saw that. Nico did get stripped twice, and he said, nope, I'm not going to take this risk. We're going to get out of here with a W. I know we're much better than Oklahoma. They literally don't have an offense, but I'm not going to kill them. I'm going to take my foot off the gas. I'm going to milk this game and walk out of here with a 10-point win. And he did that when he could have kept going. But he chose not to. So I'm going to give a lot of credit to Heupel here, showing a lot of restraint and showing a lot of maturity as a head coach and not letting his emotions take him away. I'm going to give a lot of credit to Heupel there. And so if anyone's looking at that game, like Tennessee didn't look that great. No, they did. He took it easy on Oklahoma. He did his old team a favor. So Tennessee fans, I'd be very excited, very hopeful. I'm going to make a post pretty soon here, going over my teams who actually have a chance at winning the national championship. I'm a firm believer in the blue chip ratio, and I think the Tennessee Volunteers are going to be my first team to not pass the blue chip ratio, who I will say has a chance of winning the national championship based off what I saw from players.
Sometimes coaching just does
and
that
coaching
too.
Staff.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may have an X factor, and seeing that maturity, seeing Josh Heupel just walk out of there with a win when he could have gone for the throat, I was very impressed by him showing that restraint and just being the mature coach walking out of there.
I would like to just state this: it's separate from the Tennessee game. Mm-hmm. I just stumbled across this.
Isn't more news?
I want to give some props. After Minnesota lost in blowout fashion to Iowa, the Gophers onside kicking coach was seen running the stairs immediately following the end of the game. That's some accountability. That's what I like to see.
I like that. They hold people to standards, and I appreciate that. But Oklahoma, it was actually heartbreaking for me to watch that. If anyone watching that game you literally saw Jackson Arnold's hopes and dreams get taken away from him before his eyes.
Thank you.
You literally saw it happen to him. Jackson Arnold started that game off awfully. Okay. That Oklahoma, and it wasn't just on Jackson Arnold. I want to make that clear. Okay. There were many, many problems with the Oklahoma offense. It wasn't just Jackson Arnold, but to run Dillon Gabriel out of town for that. Oh boy, Oklahoma, talk about a waste of a season. The season is over. It's done. They literally ran Dillon Gabriel out of Norman for this guy. If I have my stats correctly, he was number one quarterback out of high school. I think he was like the 4th overall player coming out of high school. Believe he's a redshirt freshman right now. I was hearing all off season about Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma fans. I remember I did a way too early top 10, didn't have Oklahoma in there, and Oklahoma fans were calling me crazy. Have you seen Jackson Arnold? Have you seen it in our defense? I was like, all right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Fine, sure. But we saw Jackson Arnold get benched for a true freshman. And I don't even know the true freshman's name. That's how bad this is.
Couldn't tell you.
But yeah, no, Jackson Arnold will never play football again in Norman, Oklahoma. That ship has sailed. It's done. Jackson Arnold, odds are he's probably never going to play football again in the SEC conference. He shown what I saw in that game. He's not a Power 5 quarterback. Yeah, Jackson Arnold right now, straight up hit the portal, dude. Whoever your agent is, you better do your fucking job right now, buddy.
Go to Liberty. Go to Liberty after the season.
Yeah, I guess Jackson, but we saw a 5-star guy have his dreams just crushed, taken away from him in front of us. And for Oklahoma, boy, this is gonna be a long season. Welcome to the SEC. It's gonna be a long year.
All right, let's. I know you wanted to talk about Michigan and USC. I don't know how much.
Yeah. This is the last thing I wrote,
but that'll be the last thing. We kind of get it. We got extra points for that.
Yeah, USC Michigan. Okay, I want to start by saying this. Phenomenal football game from an outside perspective. Wow, what a game. That's what you're looking for about college football. You get 2 big name programs. You have storylines heading into it. USC, welcome to the Big Ten. USC, they got to go play big man football, go into the big house for their first Big Ten game. But before I light up Lincoln Riley, I just want to say this. I was so unbelievably impressed with USC's players and how they played that game. Last year, USC would have folded over. They would have turned, they would have hid, tucked their tail between their legs, and they would have just gotten slaughtered if this was USC last year. But this year, they did get punched in the mouth, and they did fight back. And they didn't just fold over and lose like past Lincoln Riley teams have. But with that being said, it's a damn shame Lincoln Riley cannot coach in tight moments, because I'm so sorry, everybody. We have to listen to college football casuals and Michigan fans say that Michigan bullied USC up and down the field and introduced them to the Big Ten. If you believe that Michigan just bullied SC, showed them what big man Big Ten football was, pushed them around, you are a moron. You are quite literally a casual. Michigan in the first quarter, they bullied USC. They did. That was bullying. That was what you guys mean bullying. But second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, other than the last drive, that wasn't bullying. That there were many factors involved. Okay, Michigan did not exactly bully them around. Kind of like Ohio State a while ago, they had 3 long runs that were all very big plays that did end up kind of being the difference in the game. Don't get me wrong. But those 3 long runs weren't because Michigan bullied USC and played big man football. Those 3 runs were caused by awful coaching and a stupid college football media that convinced the world USC improved their tackling to be one of the best tackling teams in the country. After the LSU game, I said on here, USC's tackling is still sus. It's not where it needs to be yet if you want to think USC can compete for a national championship. But I even heard Urban Meyer say USC was one of the best tackling teams in the country leading into this game. When I heard my coach saying that, I was like, oh God, nobody knows what this USC team is like in the not a single person is aware of how sus this USC team is still. My God, even Urban didn't know. Blew my mind. But I understand though. I would get it. As a man who has watched every USC game over the past 3 years, I do not blame any of you for a second for not tuning in, because it was not pretty. It was some of the worst defenses I've ever seen in my life, ever. Gross, despicable, disgusting. Oh my God, awful. But I will say, with that being said, Michigan did take advantage of USC messing up, awful tackling, and they punished USC for it. So I'm going to give Michigan props. I was very impressed with Michigan. They literally could not throw the ball, and I bet Sharon Moore's sitting there right now like, why did DeAnton Lynn not put 7 in the box at least? Why did we face 6-man boxes the entire game? Going into the fourth quarter, Michigan wide receivers had a combined 12 receiving yards. 12 receiving yards. They weren't even trying to hide they can't pass. They couldn't do a basic function of football.
Well, I don't know if it was them or just Orgy in general could not.
It's Orgy can't do it. But Michigan coaches too, like, they weren't even trying to hide it. They were running. The couple times they ran play action, I'll be honest, Michigan's receivers are also dog water. Not even UFL talent on that team. My God, it's bad. So Orgy or Warren doesn't have much help, but they can't throw the ball. How are you not going to stuff the box?
Yeah, they're playing like it's 1935. Forward pass hadn't been invented yet.
Like guys, Michigan is an academy school, and you need to treat them like it moving forward. They are Navy. They are Army. Like, they do run the wing T trip. That is the offense. Stuff the box. There's no passing threat. Blows my mind. But I will give Michigan credit though. Like, they played their game. I was impressed with Michigan. I didn't think they were gonna do that, and they take advantage of other teams' mistakes better than maybe any team I've ever seen. Like Michigan is coached so well, and I'll give quick flowers to Sharon Moore because my God, some of his pulling down blocking schemes. Oh my God, you could literally teach you could teach a class on the art of pulling and O-line blocking with the masterclass Michigan put on. But I just need to end. I need to end the game with this. For Lincoln Riley, I don't know. If you're going up against a team who cannot throw the football, I can't make that any more clear. They cannot throw the football, and you have the ball up with a 4-point lead. They need a touchdown to win. They kick a field goal, nothing happens. You have a 4-point lead, 5 minutes left against a team who cannot pass. Everett, what would you do there if you were an offensive play caller?
If I was an offensive play caller?
You have the ball. You are up by 4, right? You would think run the football.
Run the ball.
You would think run the football. No, Lincoln didn't run the football. But Everett, he didn't try to just win the game getting first downs either. It's 2nd and 8. Lincoln Riley is in a situation where he can milk the game out, end the game. If he punts the ball back to Michigan with 2 minutes left, the game's over. They can't pass. But Lincoln Riley decides to call a screen pass on 2nd and long. Now, Everett, I understand sometimes screens can go for a lot of yards. Sometimes you have guys that can house a screen sometimes. But Everett,
housing it on which side is my question.
But on average, a screenplay, you're not expecting to get that many yards. You're
like 3, maybe 4.
It's a short yardage game. So he called the screen pass on 2nd long. And then on 3rd and long, he called a shovel pass, which is essentially just a run, but you shovel the ball to the guy instead. But once again, a short yardage play. So, for it, if you're going to run 2 short yardage plays anyway, and you weren't trying to end the game by getting a first down, no, why don't you just, run the ball to not bake in the possibility of an incomplete pass and stopping the clock? Why wouldn't you just run the ball? If you were already going to run short yardage gaining plays, why wouldn't you just run the ball, Lincoln? He's on
that Seattle Seahawks playbook.
If he had called 3 straight pass plays with receivers running routes past the first down, I at least would have given him the benefit of the doubt for understanding what he was trying to do. But to call 2 short yardage pass plays in a milk clock situation with 5 minutes left against a team who cannot pass, you would think he would run the football. But no, he called a screen and a shovel pass, which are essentially run plays, but you bake in the fact that it may be an incomplete pass and you stop the clock. Lincoln Riley. I'm sorry to the USC football players. Okay, I'm sorry because I'm sorry to Miller Moss. Miller Moss has that O-line blocking for him. He was pressured on 24 of 55 dropbacks, Everett. And despite throwing a pick 6 that he shouldn't have thrown the ball, yes, but his wide receiver, Zachariah Branch, who has never been coached up by a USC coach in his life, does not know how to run back to a hitch route. He doesn't know how to come back to the ball and help your quarterback. Unfortunately, you won't get that coaching if you're a USC wide receiver because Lincoln Riley has never developed a wide receiver in his life. If you disagree with me on that one, CeeDee Lamb is an absolute animal. Don't get me wrong. But I want you to look up what CeeDee Lamb did as a true freshman. He showed up in Norman and left the exact same football player. There was zero development at the University of Oklahoma. Oh, shout out Lincoln Riley for finding CeeDee Lamb. He found, hey, one of the best wide receivers in the world right now. But Lincoln Riley isn't the reason CeeDee Lamb is CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is CeeDee Lamb because he's CeeDee Lamb. It wasn't Lincoln Riley who got him there. He showed up and left Norman the exact same football player. Yeah, so Lincoln, you can't develop receivers. You're the quarterback god. You won't have me questioning that. But you can't coach in big moments. The same thing happened at Oklahoma. Pull up that Oklahoma-Georgia playoff game. Baker versus the Chubb and Sony Michel Georgia rushing offense. Pull up that game and look how Oklahoma crapped down their leg at the end and threw it away and gave it to Georgia. Yeah, that's the story you're going to get over and over with Lincoln at USC. And Lincoln, the bad news is you're going to have a lot of these games in the Big Ten. That's the really unfortunate part, is that there's going to be a lot of these games that Lincoln is going to have to win. And now USC players need to overcome not only just, some lack of talent right now, but they also need to overcome their head coach being a moron. And that's tough to do. It's tough when you got your coach coaching against you. That's tough to win. It's a bad situation to be in. Bear Alexander tweeting out free Bear. The USC fans being like, oh my God, Bear just posting for likes again. No, Bear's got a point. Free Bear, because we locked him up and put him in a cage in the bottom of the ocean at USC. Pathetic. Joke. You had that game in your back pocket, Lincoln, and you gave it a joke.
Yeah.
Absolute
with that
joke.
Maybe that's where we're going to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rated 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. You can follow me on Twitter at Everstakes and at WaterboyGrant. We post new episodes every week on YouTube and all podcast platforms, so make sure to check us out there so you don't miss a single episode. We also post exclusive content on TikTok and on Instagram, so make sure to follow us there so you don't miss anything else. And with that, we will see you guys in the next episode. Waterboys out.